Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
As he makes his fifth start with the Rangers tonight, Cole Hamels' impact cannot be measured by just his wins and losses. His addition has invigorated a team that was struggling to stay relevant in the standings. Since he became a Ranger on August 1st, the team has responded, going 15-9 and putting themselves in the middle of both the West Division and wild card playoff chasing. He'll face another contender tonight when your Rangers welcome the Baltimore Orioles to Globe Life Park in Arlington next. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T UVerse TV. Now welcome into Globe Life Park, a very important weekend for your Rangers. They host another contender for the American League wild card. It would be the Baltimore Orioles. Tonight, it's the first of three over this weekend. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Greaves, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us on this Friday night of Ranger baseball. And it is an important weekend. And fittingly, the Rangers have their ace goal, and that would be Cole Hamels, Tom.
Yeah, and that was a big trade, Buzz,
Yeah.
that brought Cole Hamels over here. It brought them an ace. He's had 4 starts for the Rangers. Early, his command wasn't quite what he wanted it to be, but it's getting better and better with each start. His last start was a nice start in Detroit, 6 innings, 2 runs. The start before that was against Seattle, 7 innings, 3 runs. So he's headed in the right direction. The Rangers have their ace, and as you said, Buzz, this is a big game, and they got the right guy on the mound for it.
Got the right guy out there with a ball in his hand, and he knows what to do with it, too. Cole Hamels has been on this stage many times before. Rangers counting on him to use that experience and get them exactly where they want to go, and that's the postseason this year. So the Rangers and the Baltimore Orioles getting set to tee it up here. A weekend series with the Delino DeShields and Ruben Odor and company. We'll be back with the starting lineups in the first pitch right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. The best deals are happening now only at your Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T UVerse TV. UVerse has more live TV channels on the go than cable. By Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. A very comfortable evening here at Globe Life Park. A breeze coming in from right center field on a 92-degree evening before we get things started for this very important weekend homestand matchup. Let's send it down to the field and check in with Emily Jones.
Well, Buzz, obviously the importance of these games as we come down the stretch run becomes more and more magnified, especially when you're playing teams that you're chasing or that are chasing you as far as the pennant and also the wild card is concerned. Something that's not lost on Adrian Beltre, and he actually likes the way his team has been playing of late.
I think we are playing more solid games all around, pitching well, playing well defense, getting key hit in a situation that we needed. We don't need to blow anybody out, but we need to win the ball game however we can. And for the last 3-4 weeks, that's what we've been doing, and hopefully we keep it up.
And the way they've been doing it, Adrian said, is what's most impressive. It hasn't been just one aspect of this team carrying it. It's been different aspects at different times. And when one falters, another picks the other up. So that's the mark, he says, of a championship team. And if they could get hot here toward the end of the season, who knows what can happen once October rolls around, Buzz.
All right, Emily, yeah, good points. And very important to keep that kind of perspective for the Rangers, for Adrian Beltre. Well, the Baltimore Orioles in town tonight. Tom's going to tell you now about the Baltimore Orioles starting lineup.
Well, Manny Machado will lead off for the Orioles. He's a two-time All-Star at the age of 23. Steve Pearce bats second. Adam Jones was the starting outfielder in the 2015 All-Star game. He'll bat third. Chris Davis, second in the American League in home runs and RBIs, bats fourth. Matt Wieters is fifth. Jonathan Scope is the second baseman. He's batting sixth. Caleb Joseph is the DH tonight. Dariel Alvarez in his first major league game will play right field and bat eighth. And Paul Janisch is the shortstop. He bats ninth.
And Chris Davis getting set to lead his team against his former team, the Texas Rangers. Chris, of course, out of Longview, Texas, out here in East Texas. He is having another good year. He'll face Cole Hamels, the Ranger left-hander, who's looking for his second straight win in a Ranger uniform. And the Rangers getting set now to take the field. Rangers coming in having won yesterday. They won the final game of that 3-game set against Toronto. Rangers 6-4 in their last 10 ball games. They are 4 games over 500. They trail the Houston Astros by 5 full games in the American League West, but they have possession of the second wild card spot as we begin play tonight. The Rangers are a half game ahead of both the Los Angeles Angels and the Minnesota Twins, with Baltimore 2.5 back as we begin play tonight. Now, Cole Hamels, our progressive scouting report for the 31-year-old from San Diego. Results improved last time. He got the W, and that is what he is all about. Look for even more of an improvement this time around as he gets comfortable being in the American League, making the necessary adjustments both to the team he's facing, the ballpark he is pitching in, and to the team he is on. And those are all big adjustments. They play into how things go for you on the mound, and Cole Hamels trying to get all that accomplished here in his 5th start for the Rangers. He's facing an Oriole team that has won just 2 of its last 10 ball games. Orioles have really struggled, and especially on the road this year. They are just 26-39 away from Oriole Park and Camden Yards. And Buck Showalter's team just really struggling on the road, particularly the second half of the season. Ranger defense tonight delivered to you by Fred Loya Insurance. Ranger outfielders 5th in the American League with 28 assists this year. You have Venable, DeShields, and Chu. Infield, Moreland at first, and Hanser Alberto, another start at second, as Rougned Odor is still trying to recover from that torn fingernail. Elvis Andrus, Adrian Beltre on the left side. Chris Jimenez is catching for Cole Hamels tonight. Now ready to get things underway here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Manny Machado steps in, and the first pitch of the ball game from Cole Hamels is high for ball 1. Machado, a .293 average. Boy, he has really come into his own. A healthy year for him. 26 home runs, 65 RBI. The 26 home runs, already a new career high. 93 degrees at game time. We got underway at 9 minutes past 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time. 2 balls and a strike. Machado in the month of August is consistent as you can imagine. 294 for the month with 4 home runs. Takes that pitch in for a strike, and it's evened up now at 2-2. You'd almost say that Machado not a prototypical leadoff hitter, but he's starting to be a prototype of a leadoff hitter. You see more and more guys at the top of that order that have home run power and extra base power. No longer just a little speed merchant, a switch hitter that slaps the ball around and runs. Payoff pitch coming. Got him swinging.
Saved the changeup for the 3-2 pitch.
Well, Cole Hamels welcomes Manny Machado to Globe Life Park with that 3-2 changeup. His best pitch going. When he has command of that pitch, he will throw it at any time, as you saw to the first hitter.
As good as that changeup is, if that's the first one you see after fastballs and cutters to get to that point, that's pretty much going to be the result.
Now Steve Pearce hitting second. 1 ball, no strikes. Pearce a .235 average, 8 home runs, 25 driven in. Pearce getting the start in left field, and the Orioles have had a devil of a time finding an everyday left fielder. Pearce the latest to go out there. David Lowe had been out there for a while, and they ran through 4 or 5 different left fielders at one point. Delman Young had been out there, and they released him earlier.
Well, we were talking about Delman Young, Buzz. In fact, he got released, I think, when we were in Baltimore, and we said, well, he won't be out there for very long. Someone will pick him up. No one's picked him up.
That's amazing.
You know, not that he's, an all-star, but he's always seemed to be a pretty solid hitter to us.
A little jam shot pop up to Mitch Moreland. That is out number 2. Well, and the number of teams that we've come across, and the Rangers included, at that time, and we're looking for a right-handed bat. He would be. I don't think you could have a guy cast as a right-handed hitter that could help your ball club more than him.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe there's more to it than meets the eye. We don't know that. We weren't associated with him. But the Rangers went out and acquired Mike Napoli, and I guess you couldn't get a better guy than Knapp for that role, especially for the Rangers because of the link to the World Series teams. But the Orioles just called up Dariel Alvarez because they wanted a right-hand hitter in this 3-game series against 3 lefties. So, yeah, the need for that type of guy is out there, but no one seems to have made a call to him.
Well, Adam Jones takes strike 1. A lot of questions surrounding Adam Jones after colliding with the wall in Kansas City as to whether he'd be able to answer the bell tonight, and he has. We'll see what effect, what carryover effect that collision might have. Jones for the season, another solid year. 24 home runs, 66 RBI, and hitting at .280. All-star again, a starter this year. And he has gone on strikes very quickly. Cole Hamels disposes of the Orioles on 13 pitches. 3 up, 3 down after a half inning. Orioles nothing, Rangers coming up.
Delino DeShields will lead off. He was on base 5 times yesterday. He had 3 walks and a couple of hits. Shin-Soo Choo is second, followed by Prince Fielder, the DH. Adrian Beltre's hit .351 in his last 15 games. Mitch Moreland is fifth. Elvis Andrus in his last 41 games has hit .305. Will Venable starts in left field and bats 7th. Chris Jimenez bats 8th. And Hanser Alberto gets his 3rd straight start as Rougned Odor tries to get better from that broken fingernail. Word is that he's pretty close to being ready to play, maybe tomorrow or the next day. We'll see. But in the meantime, Hanser gets the start at second base tonight.
And Jeff Bannister put that lineup out there. There's Rougned. Probably available off the bench if needed as a pinch hitter. I'd say probably. I won't know until that occasion arises, if it does. Delino stepping in to start things off against Kevin Gausman. And the right-hander deals strike 1. Gausman, a 24-year-old, drafted out of LSU by the Orioles. 4 basic pitches. Pitched well against the Rangers in Baltimore in July. The Rangers couldn't do a whole lot with him, but they should have an idea now. This is his 3rd time out against them about how Gausman likes to work to them, and the newness of the matchup had kind of worn off. Little looper to shallow right center field, and Scope makes the grab. 1 gone. Now, Gausman may not throw extremely hard, not lighting the radar gun up at 97 or 98, but getting inside like he did on DeShields tells you how he likes to work to right-handed hitters in particular. Oriole defense tonight, and it is a good one. They are best in the American League. Fewest errors. They have Pierce, Jones, and Alvarez left, center, and right. Chris Davis at first. He will round out the rest of the infield. Yanish, the shortstop, filling in for J.J. Hardy, who's on the disabled list. Shin-Soo Choo, a .248 hitter, takes a strike on the inside corner. Choo with 15 home runs, 56 RBI, and he has been one of the leaders of the ball club since the All-Star break. Choo, in 33 games since the Midsummer Classic, has hit .321. He's had 4 home runs, and he has driven in 18. And that hitting out of the number 2 slot. So Rangers have had the top of their order doing some damage. And speaking of the damage that has been done, how about our Ford leaderboard? Choo, the on-base percentage at .442. That is 3rd in the American League. Miguel Cabrera, just video game numbers. Michael Brantley, a little more realistic. He's having a good second half. Choo grounds 1 to the shortstop.
That's base hit against some teams.
Yep, sure is.
But it's what Choo's been doing since the All-Star break, too. Pulling the ball when he can and going the other way in the other at-bats. Led to a lot of base hits to left field.
In case you happen to be keeping score at home, that was a ground ball to the 3rd baseman. That was Machado playing over in the shortstop spot. So it goes 5-3 on the putout. 2 gone, bases empty for Prince Fielder. Prince showing signs of turning things back around for himself. It has been kind of a long process. He's now in about his 31st or 32nd game since things headed south for him. Prince has only hit .239. Still 4th in the American League, though, that .316 average. Foul backing out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Career against the Orioles, Fielder has hit to a .301 clip with 7 home runs in those 19 games. 2-1. Fielder still well up among the league leaders in a lot of offensive categories. He's still 4th in hits with 150. Off the end of the bat, Machado, the 3rd baseman, on to first, and that will do it. The 3 up, 3 down. Gausman and Hamels doing the trick against the other team. We'll go to the 2nd inning at Globe Life Park. We are scoreless. Folks, it's time for you now to tweet your strongest fan photo. Just use hashtag Southwest Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself on one of our upcoming broadcasts. All that made possible by the good folks at T-Mobile. We'll have tonight's selection of our strongest fan a little bit later on. Chris Davis starting things off. Cole Hamels fires a strike on the inside corner. Saw the numbers. Tom was pointing out that Chris Davis, since the All-Star break, 16 home runs. And just silly power.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy swing that easily and hit the ball that far. It's the smoothest home run swing. Rafael Palmeiro had a beautiful, smooth swing. But I think Chris just takes it to a different level. And when we showed that highlight early in the pregame show, when he reached out one-handed, hit that ball to right center field in Baltimore. But the ones that really carry are the ones out over the plate where he just serves it out to left field and it goes about 390 feet.
He served that right back to the box, and Hamels knocked it down, threw him out, one gone. And Matt Wieters will be next, but first of all, we're going to say hello to Jim Knox.
Oh, I appreciate it, Buzz. How about on September 14th, right out here at Globe Light Park, an evening with a legend sponsored by Capital One Bank, and the legend is Hall of Fame pitcher Greg Maddux. That's right here, and you get tickets at TexasRangers.com/evening. On the night, you get to meet Greg Maddux, ask some questions, get a picture, and also tickets to the game that evening against the Houston Astros. Should be a special night, September 14th, TexasRangers.com/evening. Buzz?
All right, Knoxy, thank you. Yeah, that'll be quite a night. If you have a pitching question, that would be the person to talk to. Well, Matt Wieters, the switch hitting catcher who is handling the catching chores tonight. He and Caleb Joseph been changing off. Venable coming on, but he's going to have to play it on a hop as Wieters just reached out, poked it to left field. Kind of a low hooking line drive that settled in for a base hit.
It looked like he was fooled on the pitch, probably a changeup. Reached out one-handed. Got softly into left field.
Yep, changeup.
Looked like a Chris Davis home run swing.
Like Venable thought that was going to be quite a bit more to his left. That thing really hooked on him. No, the first base runner of the night for either team. And Jonathan Scope, the second baseman, fouls the pitch off for strike one. Scope, a .299 average with 10 home runs and 30 RBI. He missed almost the entire first half of the season. Had a sprained knee. And this young man really burst onto the scene last year. Did a great job as a second baseman for the Orioles. Shot foul.
Out. It just seems like that's happening more and more.
Scope, a very concerned look as he tries to see down there what might have happened.
That's one tough guy there. You can see the welt on the side of his head, I think. Wow. I'll tell you one thing, I guess if it's going to hit somebody, good thing it hit someone like him.
Probably dented the ball.
Man,
how big that guy is.
He didn't even bend over.
Don't rub it. He did. Oh, those North Texas footballers, you know how they are. Man, tough. 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging.
Good fastball by Cole tonight. Most of them 94. That one 95 miles an hour. Good changeup. Great location with it so far. Thrown a couple of effective curveballs. Early in the game, he's got it working tonight.
Yep, that he does. That's 3 strikeouts in the first 5 outs. Scope is kind of overmatched. Now the DH, Caleb Joseph. Joseph, a .247 average with 11 home runs and 46 driven in. This Oriole team third in the American League in home runs. They have 168 as a team coming in. They are 6th in batting average, right behind the Rangers at .255. And also right behind the Rangers in runs scored. They've scored 560. Rangers at 561. Another good changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hamels has had a couple of previous starts against the Orioles. Hasn't fared very well, but he hasn't faced them since 2009. He's 0-2 with a 6.23 ERA in 13 innings prior to tonight. To center field. Delino to Shields ambling back, camps under it, and that will do it. No runs, a hit, and 1 man left. Again, a 13-pitch inning for Cole Hamels. We played 1.5, no score. On Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The best deals are happening now only at your Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Another nice Friday night crowd out here. Fireworks after the ball game. Rangers fans looking for some fireworks during the ball game from the home team. Adrian Beltre, Mitch Moreland, and Elvis Andrus, the first 3 Rangers to face Kevin Gausman. Gausman had a 1-2-3 first with a couple of ground outs and a pop out. 1 ball, no strikes to Adrian. Beltre had .268 average with a dozen home runs, 42 driven in. Lines 1 to center. That's going to settle in for a base hit. Well, Beltre has the first Ranger safety of the night. Lead off base hit here in the second. And Moreland coming up.
He kind of fought that pitch off with an inside-out swing. Sliced it into center field. Gausman gets pretty good movement on his fastball. Has pretty good ability to get the ball in on right-hand hitters. Adrian hit that ball toward the end of the bat, it looked like. You see the ball slicing like a left-handed slider out there to center field. Wherever he hit it. He didn't hit it all that hard, but he found a hole with it.
Oh, 1 on, nobody on. Mitch comes up, a .287 average. 18 home runs, that's still tops on the Ranger club. 67 RBI, and that's second to Prince Fielder. Strike 1 from Gausman. Moreland, on base percentage continuing to stay up between .330 and .340. He has done a very, very good job being consistent this year. Health has been the problem. And that ball is by Schoop into right field. Schoop fooled on how sharply the ball was hit. He tried to play an in-between hop and get it on the short hop and didn't get it done.
Yeah, I don't know what Schoop could have done on that one, Buzz. And it was right at him. He probably couldn't tell exactly how hard it was hit. Didn't really have time to charge it. didn't feel like he could go back on it, so all he could do, it looked like, was hold his ground and hope there was some way that he could catch it. Maybe he could have come in and got it on a shorter hop. But he's going to stand his ground, and he's just going to hope he can catch it. And obviously, he came up empty. He was smart enough to play it off to the side, or it would have hit him right in the chin.
No, that's going to be ruled a base hit. Will Rudd, the official scorer, giving Mitch the base hit sign. No, 2 on, nobody out. Here's Elvis. Takes strike 1.
Yeah, just ate him up. One of those balls, it just didn't appear like there was much he could do about it except try to catch it like that. Would have been some kind of play if somehow it hit in the middle of his glove.
Well, Beltre at second, Moreland at first, and Manny Machado, the third baseman, playing in a caddy corner down there. He's not convinced that Elvis is not going to bunt in this situation. He's not, at least on that pitch. Takes it up and in.
Yeah, they're both in. I would think after 2 pitches, 0-1, they're going to move back right here. If not, Elvis, pretty good opportunity to hit a ground ball to the right or left and get it into the outfield for a base hit. They're not going to give. They're going to stay in. I don't believe that Elvis is going to hit away.
Yeah, Elvis was trying that.
He sure was. He was trying to rip that right at him.
Yeah, 1-2 now.
Now, the Orioles haven't seen Elvis, the new Elvis, the last 150 at bat Elvis,
right,
who's occasionally hitting a ball 415 feet to left center field. He's not the bunt every time it's a sacrifice situation Elvis anymore. He's actually hitting 6th or 7th. Because he can drive in some runs now the way he's driving the ball.
Yeah, he's still in the top 5 as far as sacrifice bunts, but that goes back a ways. Pitch in the dirt. Beltre got a good read on it. Moreland didn't. And Beltre able to advance 90 feet. Now runners at the corners and nobody out.
Yeah, the guy on first has to wait and see what the guy at second is going to do. So he kind of loses the opportunity to get a great jump, because if he gets a great jump and the guy at second doesn't, then there's 2 guys going towards second base. That's not good either. But Adrian does get a nice jump. As soon as that ball hit the dirt, he took off.
Well, first and third now. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Elvis. Rangers trying to jump out in front of the Birds here tonight. Loop down the left field line, but hooks foul. Well, Elvis going down almost to one knee and kind of looping the head of the bat out to get it out there. Almost got it to stay in play. Andrews having a very good series against Toronto. Coming off that series, he saw him go 4 for 11. Had a couple of doubles in those 4 hits. Gossman checking the runners. Again, the 2-2. Gossman tuning it up at 96 miles an hour. So this young man can rush it to home plate in a hurry. Doesn't do that often. But in a situation like this where he's trying to get the strikeout, he has that in his back pocket. Got the 7th pitch of the at-bat coming up to Elvis. Right-hander sets. Line drive to right. Making the catch. There we go. The throw to the plate, and out at the plate is Beltre. Dario Alvarez just called up, making his major league debut for the Orioles. Guns down Adrian Beltre.
That's probably a case, Buzz, where there's not much of a scouting report on him, but he fits right in because he was a Cuban player signed by the Orioles as a free agent, and I don't think we've ever seen a Cuban outfielder that couldn't throw. You know how Leonis Martin can throw. That throw looked like it's right there with Martin. Cespedes, Puig, you name the Cuban outfielder, and there's not, I can't think of one that can't throw.
Yep.
That guy had that's a picture perfect delivery with something on it. It looked like a pitcher throwing that ball home.
The only one that comes to mind that a Cuban that, well, 2 of them, Jose Abreu and Kendrys Morales, and they're both first basemen.
Yeah,
they
so
can't.
I don't know. I don't know if they can throw or not. I've never seen him try. Look at that throw.
Wow.
Beautiful arm action. Well, that's Leonis Martin right there.
So Rangers foiled on that attempt at a sacrifice fly.
That's too bad because that was a good at bat by Elvis. He battled all sorts of pitches and hit that ball hard. Line drive right at the right fielder.
Will Venable up there, a 273 average with the Rangers this year. Came over from the San Diego Padres. Venable in San Diego hit 258 as he takes a strike here to make it 2-1. Venable has reached base in each game that he has played with the Rangers, each start that he's had. All 5 as he takes the backdoor breaking ball. 2-2.
Someone should go to Cuba and make a study on Cuban players to find out why they can throw like that. What do they do as kids that allows them to grow up and be able to throw like that?
You got a pretty good idea. They throw.
They throw a lot, probably.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Out of play. Still 2-2. Yeah, I'll bet they almost all play 250 games a year of some type.
Probably a lot of
not organized,
but a sandlot baseball too when they're little.
Orioles with the most outfield assists in baseball. That was before Alvarez joined you.
Yeah, they don't have an outfielder that can throw any better than that.
Pulled on the ground up the middle. Right there is the shortstop Yanis, and that'll do it. Rangers had a golden opportunity to go by the boards due to a very good throw by Darryl Alvarez. 2 hits, 1 man left after 2, no score. Pat Green in a post-game concert. Yeah, it's sure to rock the ballpark. Plus, passes are available to watch the concert from the best seat in the house, right on the field. Go to TexasRangers.com/concerts to get your tickets to see the Rangers take on the Mariners and a field pass for the Pat Green post-game show. Adrian Beltre taking care of Ariel Alvarez. Little chopper. 1 pitch and 1 away here in the 3rd inning. And before Yanis comes up, let's send it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break. Thank you, John. Angels went through a real tough time, and it looks like they may be trying to bounce out of it. Rangers hope they postpone that for another month or so. Paul Janisch taking inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Janisch filling in for J.J. Hardy. He is a 500 hitter at the moment, 3 out of 6. Hardy had to go on the disabled list, and well, that really hurts the Oriole cause. Janisch, though, a very slick fielding shortstop. He's been around for a while. 2-1 pitch from Hamels. Now 3-1. But Janisch hitting 8th in the order, or 9th in the order, trying to get a board for the top of the order. That would be Manny Machado. And a line drive to left center field. That is up the alley. Janisch going for 2. Here comes the throw from Delino. It's offline and in with a double. Paul Janisch. Janisch putting one right between DeShields and Venable. Couldn't he walked out there and placed it more perfectly. That's his first double of the season.
Yeah, Janisch was not lighting up AAA as far as his batting average goes, but he's off to a pretty nice start, filling in for J.J. Hardy. 4 for 7 now. First several appearances he's had.
Well, the Orioles have their first runner in scoring position tonight against Cole Hamels. And Manny Machado takes a strike in his second at bat. Machado went down swinging in the first inning. He started things off for the Orioles this evening. Hamels a check of second. And Machado showing bunt. That had Adrian Beltre charging in from third. The attempt withdrawn. 1-1 the count. Machado, as we mentioned, already a career high home runs. 26 round trippers. Inside all the way to the backstop as it gets by Chris Jimenez. So down to third goes Janisch. Cole Hamels pulling that pitch right under the feet of Manny Machado, and Chris Jimenez, no way he could get over there to block it. Wild pitch now, and the runner Janisch at third with 1 out. Oh, the Ranger infield will pull all the way in with a 2-1 count and 1 away to Machado. Good changeup. 2-2. That's the pitch that Machado struck out on the first time up. That was on a full count. I would venture to say he's going to see it probably one more time here. Hamels back to the plate. Straightened him up. 3-2. Machado hitting at number 1 slot. The left fielder Steve Pearce will follow. Hamels for the third time tonight now has a 3-ball count on an Oriole hitter. Payoff pitch. Inside and low, ball 4. Well, there's the first walk issued by Cole Hamels. Puts runners at the corners for Pearce.
And that's not a terrible spot to walk somebody. Machado is a terrific hitter, maybe the best hitter on their team. And so you put a man on first with 1 out, sets up a double play, keeps him from driving in a run.
Yep.
Tried to pound him in with his fastball. Looked like a little cutting action on it after the changeup, but just missed inside a little bit.
Steve Pearce first time up was jammed by Cole Hamels' fastball. A little pop up to Mitch Moreland. 1 ball, no strikes. Pearce activated from the disabled list on the 24th, so 4 days ago. He had a left oblique strain that kept him out of action for about 5 weeks. Hamels a check of first. And he will go that way as Machado dives back. Pierce had some action against the Rangers last year that they won't forget. Had a couple of home runs against them. Orioles have beaten up on the Rangers pretty good, with the exception of this last series in Baltimore. The Rangers won 3 out of 4 in that confrontation. Now Hamels ready. And misses low and outside. Last year the Rangers were just 1-6 against Baltimore. And you go back to the middle of 2013, just about 2 years ago. They are only 4-12 against the Orioles. And another toss to first, driving Machado back. Pierce in his last 4 ball games since coming off that disabled list. 364 mark, a home run and an RBI. High and outside, 3-0. Cole, all of a sudden, after the 1-out double, lost command of the strike zone a bit. He served up a wild pitch, walked Machado, has fallen behind Pierce 3-0, and misses outside to load him up. Back-to-back walks, and the bases are full of Orioles for Adam Jones. Chris Jimenez is going to go out and have a little chat with his big left-hander. Adam Jones went down swinging his first time to the plate. Cole disposed of him with 3 pitches. And he would love to have that here, or better yet, how about a one-hopper to middle infielder?
Well, Adam Jones has hit into 16 double play, so he's done that before this year.
He knows how to do that, huh?
He's done it before.
Got Yanish, Machado, and Pierce. Third, second, and first, and Jones fouls back that first pitch. 0-1. Adam Jones with the average of 279 now. A few matchups against Hamels for Jones. He's 2 for 4. 7th most home runs in team history for the Baltimore Orioles. And Cole going right after him with that fastball, ahead of the count at 0-2.
Adam Jones doesn't strike out a lot. He's only struck out coming into the game 75 times. He hardly ever walks, though. He's a guy that only walks 22 times, has walked 22 times. But this is a situation where Cole will be going for the strikeout if he can get it.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Cole Hamels leaning in for the sign, about ready to make his 20th pitch of this 3rd inning. Left-handers ready, a check of the runners. And misses very high, it's 2-2.
He swung at the high fastball for strike 2, and Cole has tried to throw that same pitch. He's just thrown it a little bit too high to tempt Adam Jones into a swing. Yeah, they keep trying for the high fastball. That one probably will work. I have to think maybe with his eyes looking up there, he might be susceptible to a changeup right here.
He went right back up there, and Jones swung through it.
And he knew what he was trying to do. He felt like he could get him with a high fastball, and he threw 4 of them in a row. 2 he swung at, 2 he took. That's a huge strikeout for Cole.
That it is.
I might have cut that one a little bit.
Up just above letter high. Yeah, still that spin just a little bit off center. That cutting action of the fastball. So 2 outs, and Chris Davis, who tapped right back to the mound, will step in. First pitch from Hamels. 1 ball, no strikes. Davis second in the American League with 91 RBI. Second with 35 home run. 6 career grand slams for the slugging first baseman. Rangers in a decided overshift against Chris Davis. Now time called as he backs out. Got an idea when we were showing you some of the clips of Chris Davis hitting. A lot of fly balls all over the ballpark. He's not just a pull hitter on fly balls, but the ground balls he tends to decidedly pull to the right side. One and one. Chris, a 29-year-old from Longview, came up with the Rangers originally in 2008. 2-1. He had a very memorable debut in the second half of the 08 season. 80 ball games that year. He had 17 home runs. And he drove in 55. He had 21 home runs the next year for the Rangers. Hamels trying to get him here, though. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for the Ranger left-hander. 2-2.
Took something off it. 85 miles an hour. Chris a little bit out in front of it.
Paul Yanish is the runner at third base. He doubled with one out. Manny Machado walked. He's at second now. And Steve Pearce also walked. He is over at first. 2-2 with 2 outs. Chris Davis, the most strikeouts in Major League Baseball. Inside, 3-2.
Tried to change up.
Yep.
That's the pitch he swung and missed at on the first pitch, trying to throw it in on him. Got a little too far in.
So with 2 outs now, the runners will be on the move. Davis hitting fourth to be followed by Matt Wieters. Cole Hamels hoping Wieters leads off the next inning. Payoff pitch with the runners going. Outside and low ball 4. That forces in a run. Paul Yanish crosses home plate. Chris Davis with the RBI on the bases loaded walk, his 92nd run driven in, and the Orioles have a 1-0 lead. Mike Maddox going to go out and talk to his battery. Cole Hamels all of a sudden really struggling with the command of the strike zone. It goes beyond command, it's control. He's not able to throw the ball in the strike zone, much less to the part of the strike zone he wants to. 3 walks in the inning.
It almost looks, Buzz, like he's just trying to make a perfect pitch. And ends up missing with him.
Yeah.
Very unusual for him to walk 3 guys and 4 batters.
Well, here's Matt Wieters, who had a single to left field his first time up there. 0-1.
At one point early in the game, he had 7 balls and 23 or 24 strikes, I think, and now it's 30 and 24. So he's thrown a lot of balls this inning in the 3rd inning. Breezed through 2 innings, got the first hitter Alvarez on a little dinky ground ball to third base to start the 3rd.
Yep.
Then after Giannis doubled, he had a hard time throwing a strike.
Yeah, and you look at that and say, well, you know, he might have had difficulty throwing from the stretch for the first time, but he'd thrown from the stretch the inning before for a couple of hits, so that probably wasn't it. And he's jumped out in front of Wieters. No balls and 2 strikes. 17 balls and 12 strikes in this inning. Hamels getting ready to throw his 30th pitch of the frame. Slowly hit out towards short. Elvis on the run will throw Wieters out, and that'll do it. So damage minimized. Orioles get a run on a hit, lead 3. And after 2.5, it's the Orioles 1, the Rangers 0 on Fox Sports Southwest. this Sunday, August 30th. The first 7,500 kids 13 and under will receive a Shin-Soo Choo blue batting helmet. That's sponsored by Dairy Queen. Head on over to TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS to get your tickets. A lot of good tickets still available for this weekend. A big series with these Baltimore Orioles. Rangers and the Orioles among the 4 teams battling for that second wild card position right now in the American League. Chris Jimenez to start things off for the Rangers here in the 3rd inning. Kevin Gausman now with a 1-0 lead to protect, and he fires strike 1. Jimenez batting at .282 with 3 home runs and 9 RBI. Chris's 3 home runs tie his career high in any one season. Also had that total back with the Cleveland Indians in 2009. He's had hits in 3 of his last 5 ball games for the Rangers at a .313 clip. Gausman pulling the string on a breaking ball. Has the advantage now at 1-2. Chris brought up from AAA Round Rock back on the 31st. He had both Robinson Chirinos and Carlos Corporan go on the disabled list. Jimenez hit .243 with the Express. 69 ball games at AAA. Gausman to the wide, the 2-2. Broken bat, soft hopper out to short. 1 gone. Well, Gausman really has that ability to get that fastball in on a right-hander, and I guess just as importantly as get it in there is have him swing it. But it must look like it's going to be on the inside part of the plate and then really dart at the last second. Hanser Alberto now will step in. Alberto hitting at .233. This is 3rd straight start. Filling in for Rougned Odor. Again, in case you missed it earlier, Odor making progress and should be able to get back into the lineup tomorrow or Sunday. That's the latest. Driven to left field and deep. Going back is Pierce. Near the warning track. He stops and makes the catch. Hanser Alberto giving that a pretty good ride to left center field.
And Jeff Bannister said that if he had to, he could probably use Odor tonight. He's scheduled to take a little bit of batting practice. Might be able to be used as a pinch hitter, and if he had to, stay in the game. So it sounds like he's getting there, almost there.
No, 2 away here in the Ranger 3rd, and back to the top of the order for Delino to Shields. Delino popped out to second as he started things tonight. Shows bunt and watches that slow hook bend over the inside part of the plate.
If Alberto hit that ball against the Astros, the left fielder would have been about 50 feet away from it, as shallow as they play.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Pierce was playing, normal depth out in left field and ran it down. That one series against the Astros here, we looked out and saw the right fielder. Look how he's right back of first base.
Yeah, this is a little more traditional outfield deployment that the Orioles have tonight. Even at that, Adam Jones plays a relatively shallow center field. And that is in for a strike. It went off the glove of Matt Wieters.
That pitch was a strike. He almost fanned on it. And he's good. Ball hit right off the top of his glove.
1-2 pitch. Giannis on to first, and that'll do it. No, 3 up, 3 down for the Rangers. The 11 pitches for Kevin Gausman. We're going on to the 4th inning here at Globe Life Park. It's the Orioles 1 and the Rangers 0.
Mark, Buzz, and Tom, this was the scene before the game. The Fox Sports Fan Express rolling in from the big city of Dallas, Texas, and on board, oh my goodness, 105.3, the fans, big-time Ranger fans, and of course, we're talking 105.3, you got Ben and Skin, you got everybody over there, but you got also Sean and RJ. Sean, you guys having a good time?
Man, every night you do such a great job of making everyone else the star. We wanted to bring the fans out for a special Noxie tribute. Noxie! You're the man. Awesome job. Thank you for having us out.
All right, Sean. RJ, you got anything to add?
We came out here to wish you a happy Flex Friday, my friend.
Flex Friday.
All right, sun's out, guns out. Take these people to the arm farm, Noxie. Show what you got. Show your guns. Let's go.
Yeah! I like these guys. You're my kind of people. Buzz.
Oh, man.
Noxie is pumped.
He is in his element right there. Jonathan Scope down swinging as Cole Hamels comes back from a little bit of a rocky third inning to punch out Scope for the second time tonight. One away for Caleb Joseph.
Well, Scope's seen a little bit of everything. That ball cut inside, ended up being about 8 inches inside when it was all over and done with. Hadn't quite zeroed in on Cole yet.
No. One away, Caleb Joseph, who flied to center field his first time, takes on the outside corner for strike one. Hamels back to the plate and gets strike two. Cole Hamels reading the signs. Now he backs off the pitching rubber. He and Chris Jimenez can't quite get together on the sign. Now they have it. 0-2 pitch. Did he go? Yes, he did. The appeal down to first base, and David Rackley said, yep, you went around. That is strikeout number 6 for Hamels.
Similar kind of pitch. This is more of a curveball than a cutter, but same location down and in, and the same result. Hitter thought he was getting a strike, but broke inside and out of the strike zone. Couldn't check his swing in time.
2 gone. Dariel Alvarez, who was out on a soft ground ball to third his first time, but probably made the defensive play of the night, at least so far. He threw out Adrian Beltre, trying to score on a potential sacrifice fly to right field. 2 balls, no strikes.
I mentioned that Alvarez signed as a free agent in July of 2013. He's a Cuban player, not a young player. He's 26 years old. So you have to think when the Orioles signed him, they felt like he could get to the big leagues pretty quickly, and he has. Last year he split time, AA, AAA, hit 300, hit some home runs, knocked in some runs. We're not sure how he can hit. We'll find out, but we know he can throw.
That we do. 2-2 as Hamels pulling the string on a breaking ball.
Yeah, not a real easy assignment for a player in his first big league game.
No.
That's excitement enough, and then you have to face Cole Hamels, who's got excellent stuff tonight.
Got him swinging. Cole Hamels striking out the side in order. That strikeout completed at first. Took him 11 pitches to get 3 punch out. Orioles gone. We finished 3.5. Orioles by 1. on the Houston Astros in a pivotal AL West showdown. And it's also just two chances left this season to enjoy dollar hot dog night. Don't wait to get your tickets for this important matchup of the Rangers and the Astros, and you and the dollar hot dog. Go to TexasRangers.com for your tickets, or you can call 972 Rangers. Well, the Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the fourth inning. They are trailing 1-0. Both teams with a couple of base hits. Shin-Soo Choo to start things off. Prince fielder Adrian Beltre to follow. And Kevin Gausman going right after Choo with strike number 1. Choo had a ground ball to the third baseman, Manny Machado, his first time. Interesting, this time at bat, the Orioles have not gone into an overshift at all. Last time they had Machado playing basically at shortstop and had Giannis over on the right side of second.
Yeah, Gausman, at least in this game, and we saw him early in the year, and he was the same way. He doesn't look like he's an easy guy to pull the ball on, whether you're a left-hand hitter or a right-hand hitter. He throws his fastball. Right?
High and tight. Now 3 balls and a strike. No, Choo trying to get aboard to start off the Ranger fourth inning. Prince fielder will follow. First time that Gausman has gone to a 3-ball count. And Choo hits a towering drive to right. Deep into the corner. Alvarez at the wall. Goodbye.
Like I said, Buzz, that's a tough guy to pull out there.
Shin-Soo Choo into the wedgie. The ball game is tied at 1.
It's a little easier to pull a guy when it's a 3-1 count and you're looking for a pitch and you get it. A little bit worried off the bat that he might have gotten underneath it too much, but fortunately hit it right down the line. And he didn't need all that much distance. He gets a 16th home run, get the Rangers even again. Gausman's not a guy that gives up a lot of home runs. That Choo was able to turn on that fastball.
No, brand new ball game now as Choo drives it out of the ballpark. Well, we've seen Choo do that, especially in the second half, Tom. He's been able to turn on that inside pitch.
Yeah, I think that's what's made him so good in the second half, Buzz. He's been patient. He's getting his walks. He's getting on base. He's doing that, and he's also hitting the outside pitch to left field, getting line drives and ground balls to left field. His overall game is, I think, exactly what you expect from Shin-Soo Choo based on what his career has been in the past.
Now fielder going to center field. Adam Jones going back. Look it up. That ball's off the top of the wall. Fielder going for 2. The throw. He is out at second base. What a throw by Adam Jones.
I'll tell you one thing. You can see why the Orioles outfielders lead in assists. And the one throw that Alvarez made, that was a beautiful throw, but that was an easy throw. He was charging a line drive, and he wasn't that deep. Adam Jones played this ball off the wall with his back to second base. Fielder just hits a line shot off the wall, comes right back to him, and he just turns, knows exactly what he's doing, and drops that throw right on the bag. Man, what a throw.
Good gracious. Yes, it was. Jonathan Scope putting that tag right down on the front of the bag, and Prince fielder sliding into it with his hand.
Well, the wrong part of the park for Prince to hit that 403-foot line drive.
One away. Here's Adrian Beltre, who takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Well, the Rangers so far in the second time around have hit a couple of bolts. Beltre had the first Ranger hit of the night back in the second inning. Had a leadoff single, and he was the one that was thrown out at home plate by Alvarez. On the line drive by Elvis Andrus. 0-2 pitch from Gausman. Go back to Prince fielder going around first base. Might have lost it. Yeah, lost his footing a little bit there. That cost him a little bit of time.
I know one thing. It's a good thing all Scope had to do was touch him with the ball. If he had to tackle him, he would have been in trouble.
Off the glove of Giannis into center field, and Beltre has his second hit.
Prince looked like he was watching the ball. Then as he got toward first base, he got his feet mixed up with how to touch first base. That probably cost him a little bit going to second. Rangers 3 straight hits this inning.
No, 1 on, 1 out. And Mitch Moreland, who had a base hit his first time, will come up. Giannis going after that and just did get a glove on it. Now time called. Mitch tired of waiting. Well, Moreland with a base hit, now hitting at .288 as he faces Gausman. A 1-1 ball game. Rangers making some noise here in the 4th inning. Gausman going to a changeup that missed outside. Moreland now a 4-game hitting streak after his 2nd inning single. Beltre stepping his lead off at first. And Gausman misses low. 2 balls, no strikes. Mentioned Mitch, the team leader with 18 home runs. He also leads the team in slugging percentage at .490. He's second to Prince Fielder along with RBI and total bases and runners in scoring position. Good changeup by Gausman, 2-1. Kevin Gausman, a 24-year-old out of Colorado. Said his grandfather in Nebraska put in the lights at Rosenblatt Stadium where the College World Series was played for all those years. Outside corner, 2-2.
Man, a tough strike. Good changeup.
Mitch settling back in as Gausman reads the signs from Matt Wieters. Call strike 3. Came back with a fastball and painted the outside corner.
Tell you what, if all those pitches are strikes, you keep the ball out there, you got a shot at a perfect game. That's the David Murphy zone out there.
No, first strikeout for Kevin Gausman tonight. 2 away, Elvis Andrus will step in. Elvis lined into a double play. That was the ball to Alvarez in right field. Looked like a sacrifice fly until Alvarez unleashed his arm. That throw right on the money to home plate. Cut down Adrian Beltre. The 1-0 pitch. Machado. A full spin around and he throws out Elvis. Boy, that is picked clean by Manny Machado at third. Well, the Rangers come back to tie the ball game. Shin-Soo Choo with his 16th home run of the year leading it off. Rangers get a run on 3 hits and lead 1. After 4, Rangers 1, Orioles 1. Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Mazda. In every car we make, you'll see why driving matters. A shot from our perch up here behind home plate. Our broadcast position. A beautiful shot of Globe Live Park. The first pitch from Cole Hamels is in for strike one as we get the fifth inning underway. Paul Janisch, the shortstop, leading things off. Janisch had a double and scored the run for the Orioles. This time he's going to ground out to Hanser Alberto. One gone, back to the top of the order.
That's that spot again. We talk about it all the time where the Rangers second baseman plays a lot against right-hand hitters, and another ground ball hit right to him.
Let's check in with Emily Jones. Em?
Guys, kind of an interesting story tonight in the cold hard facts department, brought to you by Coors Light. Will Venable has been using this very same glove since 2012. It was loaned to him by bench coach Dave Roberts with the Padres. And since then, he's had just 6 errors in 553 games. So the story goes, he had a glove that wasn't quite broken in early 2012. So Dave gave him his glove, which he had used for about 5-6 years. And since then, Will has been using it. He swears he's going to use it as long as he can. He doesn't take it out for catch, only uses it during games, and says it's treated him very kindly.
Oh, that's a good story. And it looks like it has a few years on it. A little rough around the edges, but ball players are funny like that, Buzz. If they find a glove they like, they don't want to change. I remember a lot of players, especially middle infielders, who got a glove that they loved, and when it started to wear out, they'd take it someplace and have new leather sewn in the pocket or wherever they needed it, patch it up, and just try to make it last as long as they could. But boy, that's a vintage glove right there. You can tell by looking at it.
It looks like it's a very comfortable fit for him.
Yeah.
Been on that hand for 7 years now.
A glove is such a personal thing. You could go into a big league dugout and pick up gloves, and you'd say to yourself, man, how in the world can he use that glove? It just doesn't fit your hand. You don't like the way it's broken in, but everybody has a different way of breaking in a glove.
Yep.
And feels different to different guys.
Well, our AT&T Uverse Rewind, that glove did a pretty good job here yesterday. But Venable back to home plate. You won't see that happen where a left fielder has back to home plate making a diving catch like that. Maybe one time in a season.
Did you see the picture in the paper of that?
No, I did not.
There was an incredible picture of him parallel to the ground from home plate, right as he made that catch.
Wow.
The photographer just caught it perfectly.
Steve Pearce gets jammed again. That's the second time tonight that Cole Hamels has gotten in there. This time Pearce fought it off foul. Pearce, a little pop out his first time up, walked in the third inning. That was when Cole Hamels ran into that stretch of 4 hitters where he walked 3 of them. Uncharacteristically just losing command of the strike zone, but he's back in there now. Got him swinging. Foul tip into the glove of Chris Jimenez. A 9-pitch inning for Cole Hamels. He sends the Orioles down in order. We played half the ball game here tonight. It's the Rangers won and the Orioles won on Fox Sports Southwest. Tickets are available now. You can catch all of the action at Globe Life Park next year. Plus, if you place the deposit now, you can guarantee a seat for any 2015 postseason games. Visit TexasRangers.com/seasons and place your deposit today. Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Will Venable takes outside for ball 1. It'll be Venable, Jimenez, and Alberto to face Kevin Gausman. Will at a ground ball to short, his first time up there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Venable now as a Ranger hitting at an even 250. Ball came up, looked like it knocked his helmet off. Venable saying something to Field and Colbreth, the home plate umpire. Boink. Who's that did that to you? Napoli.
Napoli.
Yeah. Knapp looked a little more surprised than Will did this time.
Oh, I thought that was going right down the line.
Well, the overshift is on by the Orioles, and Venable trying to take advantage. He's got 75 feet of territory over there between the bag and Machado. And instead, a little changeup is right back to the mound. But 1 gone.
Buzz, I got a nice letter from Nancy Jones from Louisville, Texas. She told me a story about in 1976, her little boy, came to a ball game at the old ballpark. His name was Jeff. He was 5 years old, and he had a teddy bear. And she told the story that I was walking by the dugout and came over and said to him, "Can I touch that teddy bear for good luck?" And so the little boy put his teddy bear out, and I touched the teddy bear. I don't know if it brought me good luck or not. Might have brought him good luck.
It brought him good luck because that ball is deep and gone.
That's what we're talking about.
Chris Jimenez, dead center field on the first pitch. His career best 4th home run of the year, and the Rangers are on top 2-1.
I'm trying to figure out how that teddy bear was going to bring someone good luck. And it looks like Jeff Jones' teddy bear from 39 years ago brought Chris Jimenez some good luck. Anyway, last night or the night before, a little boy was in the stands, and he caught a foul ball. And it was one of the best ones we've ever seen. He jumped up in the air after he caught it. The little boy that caught the ball was the son of the kid that brought the teddy bear to the ballpark 39 years ago. His little boy, Jimmy. Watch this catch. And how happy this little guy is. Watch him start jumping up and down. Well, that is Nancy Jones' grandson, who loves the Rangers. Her son came to a ball game 39 years ago with his teddy bear and loved the Rangers. And Nancy watches every game and enjoys the games herself. So thanks for that note, Nancy. Appreciate that little story. And congratulate Jimmy on that great catch. And there's the luck. Probably didn't bring me much luck, but it sure brought Chris Jimenez good luck right in the middle of the story.
Brought him 411 feet of good luck. And that ball just rolling foul. Nice effort by Hanser.
Boy, he launched that one, too. Chris, in part-time duty since he's joined the Rangers, 4 home runs and 10 RBIs.
Isn't that something? Elvis telling Chris, I told you. Now, Chris Jimenez gets the Rangers on top. It's the second solo home run for the Rangers tonight. Shin-Soo Choo tied the game. Now Jimenez, 1 inning later, makes it a 2-1 Ranger lead. To the backhand, Machado can't come up with it. Now Alberto is going to be aboard. That's going to be ruled a base hit, but I would think if you talk to Manny Machado, he'd tell you that's a play that he should make.
Yeah, he's pretty much noted for that play, going toward the foul line, backhanding it, and firing it across the field. He's got a tremendous arm. And there's a highlight play from him. I don't know if it was early this season or last year, where he was probably 3 or 4 feet in foul territory.
Yeah.
And still threw it across the diamond.
Yeah.
So I think you're right on that one, Buzz.
No, 1 on, still 1 out. Back to the top of the order. Delino to Shields. 0 for 2 tonight. Steps in. Delino has popped out and grounded out. 1 ball, no strikes. Delino having a very good homestand. He is now 4 for 10. He was on base a career high 5 times yesterday. Takes a strike here. On that Jimenez homer, our cameraman out there in center field, Vic Sosa, that got him right in the shoulder.
He's like the guy that got hit in the head early in the game.
Didn't even flinch, did he?
It's part of being a cameraman. Take it in the arm and keep on shooting.
Nice going, Vic. We'll get you an ice bag out there to.
We're watching you, Vic, so don't be rubbing it out there now. Yeah, he's tough.
Two balls and a strike to Delino. Hands are Alberto at first. Gossman checks him. There goes the runner, and the base hit to right field. Alberto will not even hesitate at second. Well executed hit and run by Delino to Shields. And the Rangers have runners at the corners for Shin-Soo Choo, and 1 out.
Well, the young guy's getting a little rally going after the home run. What a nice job. We keep talking about Delino to Shields in his rookie season and the things he's doing that make him look more like a 5 or 6 year veteran than a rookie. It's almost like he said to himself, okay, the guy's covering first. He's the second baseman. I should hit it right where the second baseman would be. And that's exactly what he did.
He did. And I would bet right about now he's thinking, how can I get from here down to second base as quickly as possible? Here's Choo, who's homered and grounded out. This is the home run, and this is Vic Sosa's camera. Just a little bit of a flinch. I take back, it was a little flinch.
That's great. There's nothing he could do. The ball jarred his hand. It didn't take him long to get back to steady.
To second, they get 1. The return to first, not in time. In to score is Alberto.
Oh, glad he threw that ball to second.
With the fielder's choice ground out, drives in the second run of the inning, and the Rangers lead it 3-1.
A slowly hit ball, and Choo runs fairly well. Didn't look like the kind of ball that they were going to be able to get a double play. Chris has a great arm, and he makes a good play. But it looks like his play was home on that one.
Yep. The Rangers with a 2 spot here in the second. Prince Fielder looking for more. Takes inside for ball 1. Fielder 1 for 2.
See, Chris has a clear shot at home. Alberto's not even halfway to home plate. But I think in the back of his mind, he said, I'm going to try to turn a double play. Just wasn't hit hard enough to do it.
Off the end of the bat, and that will squirt foul back into the seats. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Rangers now 3 runs on 8 hits tonight. They have put together 3 hits in this inning for a couple of runs. Chris Fielder trying to keep it going. Gossman with the 1-1 pitch. Force play at second, and that will do it. The Rangers score twice. They get 2 runs on 3 hits and lead 1. And after 5, it's now the Rangers 3 and the Orioles 1.
Teacher of the Year night. That's right. Here at Globe Life Park, the Rangers honoring a lot of the teachers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area as well as in Louisville. This is Kathy, your named Teacher of the Year. And you guys had a parade down in the field before the game. What was that like?
Oh, it was awesome. Everybody lined up. We got to be on the field, hold the banner. It was an amazing experience.
And what do you like best about teaching, Kathy?
The kids, obviously. Going in every day with a smile and never knowing what you're going to find, but always knowing that they're going to give their best and you give it right back to them.
There we go. Okay, well, congratulations. Glad you guys are out here. We'll let you root on the Rangers. Appreciate it. Thanks, Kathy.
All right, Noxie, we head to the top of the 6th inning. Adam Jones, who has struck out both times that he's faced Cole Hamels, will lead things off. Hamels now with a 3-1 lead to protect. And Jones, a fly ball well hit to center. With room, though, in center is Delino to Shields. That is out number 1. Delino patrolling the big part of the ballpark, one away, and Chris Davis will be next. But first, we're going to throw it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break. All right, John, thank you.
That's good news.
Yep, certainly is. Chris Davis has walked and grounded back to the mound. Chris with his 92nd RBI on his bases loaded walk in the 3rd inning. Low and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Cole Hamels now just reaching the 80 pitch mark here in the 6th inning. So with the exception of that 3rd inning where it got kind of out of hand pitch count wise, Hamels has been very, very efficient tonight. Will Venable trotting in and over toward the line. That is out number 2. 2 up, 2 away, and there's the inning by inning. See, you take that 30 and cut it in half, which is just about where Cole would like to be, and you've got a very manageable pitch count in the rest of the innings. It's funny how that pops up. You look at that after, and I'll bet Cole looks at it afterwards and scratches his head and say, where did that come from? And he'll probably have an answer to it. Me sitting here looking at it and saying, where in the world did that pop up from? Here's Matt Wieters, who is 1 for 2. Wieters a single in the 2nd inning. Wieters coming back from Tommy John surgery that he had to have last year. That elbow wasn't quite ready at the start of the year, so he missed the first part of 2015. Most of the restrictions for him, though, off. When he first came back, he'd catch one day and have to have the next day off. He's gotten it back to pretty close to full strength. 1-2. Hamels to the plate. And Elvis down on one knee has it. A very quick and easy 9-pitch 6th inning for Cole Hamels. He sends the Orioles down in order. After 5.5, it remains the Rangers 3 and the Orioles 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. the Sonic Slam Inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $1,100 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Wilma Hopkins from Mesquite will win $1,100. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Wilma is going to take home $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, hang on, Wilma. You've got some people that can drive the ball out of the ballpark for you. Adrian Beltre to start things off. Mitch Moreland, Elvis Andrus to follow, and Adrian takes strike one. Beltre 2 for 2 tonight, a pair of singles. Rangers with 8 hits. They have been racking up the base hits. They've been a 279, 8-hitting team since the All-Star break. That is second in the American League. Also third in the American League in runs per game, better than 5 runs in each contest for the Rangers. 1-1 pitch to Beltre. Hit well to right field. Retreating is Alvarez. He has room just in front of the warning track. One gone. Next will be Mitch Moreland. Well, folks, the last post-game concert of the season takes place on Sunday, September the 20th, when Christian music sensation David Crowder takes the field following the Rangers and Mariners baseball game. Head to TexasRangers.com/concerts for game tickets and information on how you can see the David Crowder show from the field. Moreland 1 for 2 tonight. Had a single in the second inning. Last time up, Mitch went down looking. Gossman to the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Rangers we've been talking about since the All-Star break, they've continued to play extremely well. They're 23-15. That's the 3rd best record in the American League since the All-Star game. Rangers also just a couple of wins shy of matching last year's total. And we haven't even gotten to September yet. Last year the Rangers were 67-95, and Rangers with 65 wins right now. 2-2 as Mitch eyeballs that changeup that floats in. Orioles in an overshift against Moreland with nobody on and 1 out. Got him swinging. Gossman doing a pretty good job of mixing speeds and locations. Moreland strikes out for the 2nd time. 2 gone for Elvis Andrus. Always a favorite at the ballpark. Elvis tonight 0 for 2. A couple of fine defensive plays have kept him out of the hit column. He takes strike 1. Pitch. That is in the dirt.
Elvis has hit the ball hard twice with men on 1st and 3rd, no outs. He hit the line shot to right field instead of a sac fly. It turned into a double play on Alvarez's great throw. Last time up, he had a bullet at 3rd base. Machado made a nice play.
Yeah, Giannis takes care of it, and the Rangers are gone in orders. Gossman gets the job done on just 11 pitches. We'll move on to the 7th inning. It remains the Rangers 3 and the Orioles 1. Hamels suffered through a little bit of a lapse of command there in the third inning. Bases loaded walk got the Orioles on the board, but Shin-Soo Choo came back in the fourth with his 16th home run of the year. A solo blast, and then Chris Jimenez tried to take the arm right off our center field camera, Vic Sosa. His fourth home run of the year. That put the Rangers on top by one, and then the Rangers would add one more in that frame to make it a 3-1 Texas lead as Cole Hamels back to the hill to work the seventh inning. He's facing Jonathan Schoop to start things off. And Schoop fouling it off to the right. No balls and 2 strikes. Schoop has had no luck at all tonight.
How many pitches has he seen? I don't keep track of that. It seems like it's
three in the first one. I think it was 5 total. In the
struck out twice. Had to be at least 6. So he's seen 7.
Yeah.
Almost everyone's been a strike.
Yep. He's finally gotten the bat on a couple of them in this at bat, which is something he had a tough time doing the first 2 times up. Hamels still under 90 pitches as he works in the 7th inning. And another pitch out of play. And that's, as we told you last inning, that's including the 30-pitch third inning that he had. You take that and make it a normal one, he'd be in the 60s somewhere. Got him swinging. Breaking ball, and Jonathan Schoop, I think, will be happy when he sees Cole Hamels in his tail in his rearview mirror. For Hamels, his 9th strikeout tonight.
Well, Buzz, this is by far the best curveball that he's had in his 5 starts. He's thrown not a lot of them, but more than he's thrown in his other starts. And he's had a good one. He's kept it down, thrown it for strikes, got swings and misses at it.
Caleb Joseph fouls one back. Cole's strikeout high this year was 12. Had that against the Pirates back in June. Low and inside. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. This for Hamels, the 9 strikeouts, the high water mark as a Ranger. Caleb Joseph, a fly ball to center and a strikeout. He's going to sky one to shallow center. Elvis going out, and Delino DeShields making the call and the catch for out number 2. And that is 12 straight now sent down by Cole Hamels and his Ranger teammates. No bases empty, 2 away. It'll be Dariel Alvarez for his 3rd at bat of the night. Hamels has limited the Orioles to just 2 base hits and a 1-out single in the 2nd inning, and then the 1-out double in the 3rd. A strike to Alvarez. Oh, 1 pitch.
He saw the fastball for a strike right down the middle of the plate. Got pumped up for the next one and almost broke his back trying to swing at that breaking ball, or stop swinging at that breaking ball, I guess it was. He's thinking, man, I wish I swung at the first one.
Yeah.
He took the second one.
Got him swinging. Hamels with 10 strikeouts. A 1-2-3 inning. 11 pitches is all the left-hander needed. Orioles gone. It's time for the stretch here at Globe Life Park. Rangers leading 3-1. Now let's join Chuck Morgan as he introduces God Bless America.
Attention, please. Please rise as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the world. The Texas Rangers invite everyone in Globe Life Park to join in singing God Bless America.
before we go to the bottom of the 7th, the time for our strongest fan photo reveal of the night. This time comes to us from Betty. Betty, thank you very much. Great shot out here at Globe Life Park. And you folks would like to send along your photo, use hashtag Southwest Data Strong Fan. And your photo might show up on our air just like Betty's did tonight. All this made possible by the good folks at T-Mobile. Will Venable to start things off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 7th. Texas on top 3-1. And Venable, who has grounded out twice, takes ball 1. Bottom third of the Ranger order to face Kevin Gausman. A ball and a strike. Will Venable, the veteran outfielder, came over from San Diego. Hit .258 with the Padres this year. Had 68 starts in San Diego in the outfield. It's a lashed out of play. 1-2. Will, originally a 7th round draft pick out of Princeton by the Padres. Padres, the only organization that he had known prior to coming over here. Check swing, and they pitch down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gausman with his 93rd pitch of the night. 3-2. Venable trying to start things off in the Rangers' 7th by getting aboard. Chris Jimenez, the catcher, is in the on-deck circle. Inside, ball 4. Venable coaxes a walk to begin things. That is the first walk allowed by Kevin Gausman tonight. 1 on, nobody out. And there's a breakdown inning by inning in the pitch count. 19 in the 4th, the highest for Gausman. Very manageable pitch count for the right-hander. But he finds himself trailing 3-1. He's given up a couple of solo home runs that have made the difference in the ballgame. One of those home runs off the bat of the man at the plate right now, Chris Jimenez. A 411-foot shot to our center field camera position, manned by Vic Sosa out there. There's Vic. He's keeping an eye on it now. He's not going to have that twice. Bring it on. I can handle that. One ball and 1 strike. It will take you back to that 5th inning. Low fastball. Look out, Vic. Here it comes. Point. Chris Jimenez, a new career high of single season with 4 home runs for Jimenez. Chris checking with Tony Beasley down at 3rd. See what Jeff Bannister might have in mind, if anything. Tony flashing the signs out to Venable over at 1st. And Jimenez at the plate. Nobody out, a 1-1 count. Now Wieters flashing the signs out. Venable expanding his lead by about a half step. He's staying put, and Gausman pulls the string on the breaking ball. Now the right-hander's ready once again. Shallow right field down the line, but that's going to peel off foul and almost get into the seats. Out of play. We'll come back and try it again. Take a look at our Kubota power stats. Ubaldo Jimenez, hard throwing right-hander, last 4 starts against the Rangers, has had very good success against them. And 3-0 mark, a minuscule 0.68 ERA. Rangers have hit a total of 157 against him. That's tomorrow for the Orioles against the Rangers. Rangers in that ball game going to counter with Martin Perez. Got him swinging.
Gossman's had a pretty good assortment of off-speed pitches tonight. Remember him throwing a lot of fastballs, but he's had a pretty good changeup tonight, throwing some breaking balls. Pitched a pretty nice ball game.
That is his third strikeout. And one away to bring up Hanser Alberto.
Chris Davis is, I think, going in to get a new glove. Not sure how it broke, but
probably one of those throws by Gausman over to drive Venable back. Guys always have a glove just in case they've broken in a little bit.
Yeah, I guess a first baseman needs one. You throw it over there, it goes right through the web of your glove down the right field line. You got to be careful. I guess a first baseman and a catcher would be the most likely to have two gloves on the bench. I don't know that everybody else has two gloves on the bench.
P.J. McFarland, the left-hander, up and loosening. Yeah, you see catchers have that happen a lot where the webbing breaks. Or Hanser Alberto takes outside for ball one. Alberto had an infield hit his last time up. Came around to score. 1 out of 2 this evening. Kevin Gausman with his 101st pitch of the night. Alberto, line drive to left. Coming on Pierce. He makes the play. Back to first base goes Venable. They're now 2 outs. And Delino DeShields will come up. And before Delino steps in, let's send it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break.
The young Twins team is still hanging in there.
They are.
They've got some good young players. They can get a top of the rotation guy or two. And that young lineup they've got, they're going to be a force.
There's a drive to left center field. Going back is Pierce. He can't get it. It's over his head to the wall. Venable will score. Turning on the Jets around third, or around second, into third with a slide. Delino DeShields. The Rangers lead it 4-1.
I swear it's every day that you've got to use some kind of a superlative to describe Delino. Yesterday in the ball game, he was on base 5 times. He walked 3 times. He had a couple of hits. In this game, he had a perfect hit and run in the 5th inning. And now he drives one over the left fielder's head for a triple to drive in a run here in the 7th inning.
Delino DeShields with his 8th triple of the year. And you got to remember now, he didn't play until the first part of May, at least on a full-time basis. So he has done that about 85 games. No contest at third. So that base hit drives Kevin Gausman from the game. Pitching change underway with the Rangers leading 4-1 and looking for more. We'll take a timeout. We're back right after this. replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCasts, and a lot more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet. But TJ McFarland, the 6'3" left-hander, on now to face Shin-Soo Choo. And Choo swinging through an off-speed pitch for strike one. McFarland, a 26-year-old. He is out of Orland Park, Illinois. His 19th appearance for the Orioles this year, 0-2. The league hitting a lofty .330 against him. Chopper over the mound, charged by Giannis, the shortstop, and he fires to first. That'll do it. But the Rangers, thanks to Delino DeShields' RBI triple, get on the board again. They get a run on the hit and lead one after 7. 4-1 Texas.
That's a fan of the game. We got to give it to 6-year-old Penn. He's been cheering for the Rangers all game long. What have you been saying, Penn?
Go Rangers!
I like it. Well, here's the bag. Congratulations. Thanks for cheering. I understand you got a haircut. What does that say?
Whip, nay.
And what does that mean?
Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay. Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay.
No, that's what it means. All right, Penn. Good job, buddy. All right, congratulations. There we go. Buzz.
There you go, Doxy.
That is the fan of the game right there.
Oh, wow. Well, Cole Hamels starting the 8th inning now, and he's dealing to the number 9 man, Paul Yanish. The shortstop is 1 for 2. Yanish had a double back in the 3rd inning, scored the only run of the game for the Orioles. Orioles to have just 2 hits against Cole Hamels tonight. Chopper to 3rd, right at the bag. Adrian across the diamond. 1 out. And that was pitch number 100 for Cole Hamels. Our TXU Energy power player. And who else? Tonight, Cole Hamels. It's been the Cole Hamels show tonight. 7 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, and 10 punch-outs. This has been the Cole Hamels that everybody has been talking about. Ace of the Phillies staff, and he has become the de facto ace of the Rangers staff. And you can see why with his stuff. 3 great pitches, a very good fastball, a mid-90s fastball at times, but great movement, an outstanding changeup, and a very good curveball.
Well, he was interviewed the other day, and he said, I really haven't shown what I'm capable of doing, but
Yeah.
I think he is tonight.
I think so. I think he will probably say, no, this is a little more like it.
Yep.
Fastball in for a strike to Machado. 2-1. Machado has walked, struck out, and tapped back to the mound. Hamels 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Machado, a .292 hitter for the year. Full count. Hard to remember that Machado just turned 23. So he plays a much older style of baseball than that.
He's already been an all-star twice.
Just able to get a piece of that great changeup. Still 3-2. Sam Dyson, sinker balling right-hander out there in that Ranger bullpen. Cole Hamels up to 106 pitches. Another 3-2 is line foul down the left side. We'll come back and try it again. Looking back at Hamels' game log this year, 106 pitches, not something that is particularly out of the ordinary. He threw 129 on the no-hitter he had against the Cubs. This is inside here to Machado. And a one-out walk puts him aboard for Steve Pearce. If you're going to use pitch counts, that really is the context you have to have them in. Is it out of the ordinary? Is this something that Cole Hamels has not been used to doing? And the answer is no. 106 is not out of the ordinary for him at all. And you get up to 130 or so, yeah, it's getting out of the ordinary a little bit. But he has trained himself, conditioned himself, and his body has accepted the idea that he's going to throw 110, 115, 120 pitches, or at least be ready to it. Let's go down to Emily Jones.
Well, Buzz, you guys were talking about Cole, not having shown what he's capable of doing on the mound until tonight, but he did say he wanted to do all of the other things that he could, to be a good teammate in the clubhouse, to get acclimated, to try to do all the things outside of pitching to make sure that he was preparing himself the best way he could and getting, familiar with his surroundings, just basically becoming a Texas Ranger. And so, he was waiting for the mound stuff to come in the meantime.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, that's he understands what the job is. Double play ground ball to Alberto. Elvis going across the bag and fires on to first. A 4-6-3 double play, and Cole Hamels is out of the inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left after 7.5. It's the Rangers 4 and the Orioles 1.
Score of 4-1 as we welcome you back to Globe Life Park. This the opener of a 3-game series between the O's and the Rangers. Game 2 will take place tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Fox Sports Southwest. 7 o'clock first pitch. There you see a couple of the hot hitters headed into this one. A big Thank you to AT&T Uverse for getting us ready for game 2, guys.
All right, Em, thank you. And Prince Fielder starting things off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Fielder 1 for 3 tonight. It'll be Fielder, Beltre, and Moreland. Prince had a 4th inning single. Other than that, has grounded out a couple of times. Facing T.J. McFarland. 1 ball and 1 strike. No Prince with the average right where he began tonight at 316. Rangers 4 runs on 9 hits this evening. Orioles 1 run on 2 hits. High and tight. 2-1 to Fielder. Prince 1 for 3 in his career and previous matchups against McFarland. Gets one off the end of the bat, and the shortstop Yanish throws out Fielder. 1 gone. Adrian Beltre coming up.
I mentioned that J.J. Hardy's on the disabled list, and we haven't seen Yanish play a lot, but his reputation of being a solid shortstop, and he's looked pretty slick out there tonight. Made a lot of nice plays. Gets rid of the ball quickly, accurately.
Well, here's Beltre, who had a couple of hits, 2 singles earlier in the ballgame. 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th. 2 for 3, the average at 270 as McFarland misses low for ball 1. Infield plays Beltre maybe a step around to the left, as does the outfield. McFarland gets a fastball in there. Beltre in previous matchups against McFarland 0 for 2. And Cole Hamels sitting alongside his catcher, Chris Jimenez, and with the pitching coach, Mike Maddox. A very interested spectator, let's put it that way. In case you're wondering whether or not Cole might go out for the next inning, it's possible. He's at 111 pitches. He has had 1 complete game yesterday. That was the no-hitter against the Chicago Cubs. By the mound, Yanish in a hurry throws out Beltre. 2 gone. Adrian retired, and there's the Ranger closer, Sean Tollison. He is ready if needed. Mitch Moreland 1 for 3. A couple of strikeouts and a single. Takes a breaking ball low for ball 1. Mitch's base hit came back in the 2nd inning. Facing McFarland for the first time. Pretty well hit to right center field. Long run back for Alvarez, and he makes the catch midway back on the warning track. Well, Mitch gave it a pretty good ride, but not quite enough. And the Rangers are gone in the 8th inning. Well, we'll see what happens in the 9th. It looks like it's going to be tally time at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Rangers leading 4-1.
tally time, but Cole Hamels sure finished this game from his perspective in a very strong way. When we come and join you on Rangers Live, Pudge Rodriguez with great perspective on what he saw from Cole Hamels. Pudge, of course, has faced him several times in the National League. We will get lots of post-game reaction from this game, too. Let's hear from Cole, from Jeff Bannister, from some of the other players as well. It's all coming up with me and Pudge and Mac and Buzz and Emily and Noxie. It's right after the game. It's Rangers Live, guys. But let's get it back over to you.
All right, John, thank you. Well, indeed, Sean Tollison out there to try to get his 27th save in 29 opportunities. Tollison on now for the 59th time this year. The league hitting just .227 against him, and he replaces Cole Hamels, who worked 8 innings, gave up 2 hits and 1 run, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. Cole, the Ranger left-hander. First pitch from Tollison is in to Adam Jones for strike 1. One more note on Cole Hamels. He retired 15 of the last 16 Orioles that he faced. It's his 30th career game with 10 or more strikeouts. So an outstanding effort by the veteran left-hander. Adam Jones swinging through a Tollison offering. It's 0-2. Jones tonight has struck out twice, fly to center field. Sean Tollison appeared yesterday, got his 26th save against the Toronto Blue Jays. In that ball game, Rangers salvaging that final game of the 3-game series. Maybe the most bitter time that Sean Tollison had was the game before that, back on the 25th on Tuesday against the Blue Jays. Sean came in and had his second blown save of the year, gave up a couple of walks in the inning and the 2 runs which put the Blue Jays ahead. Hands are Alberto, gets rid of it in a hurry, and Mitch Moreland can't dig it out. Now, a tough play for Alberto and a tough long bounce for Mitch Moreland. That's going to go as a base hit for Adam Jones to lead off the 9th inning.
Yeah, great pitch from Sean. He jammed Adam Jones. Alberto gets it, has time. And that's one of the rare times where Mitch won't scoop that ball out of the dirt.
Boy. So 1 on, nobody out. Chris Davis now will step in against Tollison. Davis tonight 0 for 2 with a walk and an RBI on that walk. Rangers in the overshift on the infield. And Tollison fires strike 1. Chris Davis 0 for 4 in his career against Sean Tollison. Chris second in home runs with 35, 92 RBI, also second. A good high fastball. 0-2.
Down and in, up and away.
Tollison with 62 strikeouts and 58 in a 3rd innings. Ahead of the count, no balls and 2 strikes to Chris Davis. 1-2. 28,337 on hand here tonight. Nice Friday night crowd. The first Friday night of high school football season. Good crowd out here at Globe Life Park to see this important matchup of the Rangers and the Orioles. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, see you later. Throws him at home plate like a DiGiorno pizza. 1 gone.
Let's take a look at what froze him. That's a strike all the way. Chris didn't like it, but
nope.
Didn't matter. Field and Colbert liked it. So did we.
Now Matt Wieters 1 for 3 this evening.
Well, Buzz, when they're frozen at the plate and it's a DiGiorno pizza.
Yep. That means
how do you know it's pizza or like a Swanson TV dinner?
Well, this wasn't a delivery, so it had to be the DiGiorno pizza.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I was just trying to determine how you differentiate it.
If it's a multi-course delivery, then it's a Swanson.
Okay. I used to get confused by Mark Holtz's theories sometimes. I used to have to ask him questions about his theories. So,
okay.
I hope you don't mind the question.
No, not at all.
I should. I mean, I should know that by now. But
well, that's a pretty popular question, though.
Okay. Well, I figure I just kind of, as Dave Burchett just said, asking the question all the fans might have asked.
Sure. I probably get that question more than anything else in the winter. My kids ask me about it. Where'd you come up with that?
They want to know how the Rangers are going to do. They want to know. They want to know about those frozen players at the plate.
That's right. 2 balls and a strike for the count to Matt Wieters. Wieters' base hit came back in the 2nd inning. Line drive to left off of Cole Hamels. Now facing Sean Tolleson. 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Wieters just one previous at bat against Tolleson. He is 0 for 1, having grounded out. Tolleson would love to get a ground ball at Adrian Beltre or Elvis Andrus or Hanser Alberto. Instead, he gets a line drive to right. Chu has it measured. He makes the catch for out number 2. And the Chu chant going out there for Shin-Soo after that catch. Cole Hamels on the top rail of the Ranger dugout. He is just about ready to lock down his 2nd win in a Ranger uniform and even his overall record at 8-8 this year. First, Sean Tolleson has to deal with Jonathan Schoop. Schoop tonight has struck out all 3 times that he's come to the plate. And Sean Tolleson drops in a hook for strike 1. Crowd on their feet at Globe Life Park. Hoping the Rangers can put some more distance between themselves and the Baltimore Orioles. 1-1. Orioles came into play tonight 2.5 games behind the Rangers for that 2nd wild card spot. One pitch. Out of play. Adam Jones, who is on the move, will have to retrace his steps. And the Orioles now down to their final strike. Cole Hamels, an outstanding effort here tonight. And the towels being waved in support of Sean Tolleson of the Rangers. Breaking ball in the dirt. Defensive indifference allows Adam Jones to get to 2nd. 2-2 now the count. Crowd rising to the crescendo. The 2-2 from Tolleson. Got him swinging. That is a winner with an exclamation point. Sean Tolleson and the Rangers close out the Baltimore Orioles 4-1 the final tonight. Sean Tolleson, his 27th save in 29 opportunities. Cole Hamels, his 2nd consecutive win as a Ranger. And the Rangers make it 2 in a row here at home, and with 2 more games left in this series, look to be playing good, solid baseball as they defeat the Orioles tonight. Now, Cole Hamels, 8 solid innings of work, just 1 run on 2 hits, 4 walks and 10 strikeouts. And Sean Tolleson able to get that final strikeout of Jonathan Schoop. Now, Tolleson gave up the infield single to Adam Jones to start the 9th, then struck out Chris Davis, got Wieters on a fly ball to right, and struck out Jonathan Schoop to preserve the Ranger victory. And Cole Hamels said, yep, that's what we were looking for. Well, the Rangers win it 4-1. Ranger captain waving the flag in celebration. Let's head down to the field. Emily Jones is standing by.
Thank you very much, Cole. You've been very adamant that you have not been the pitcher that you wanted to be here. Was tonight a better indication of that?
Yeah, I think just from the very start with just, the preparation towards the game, getting back on the 5 days was kind of nice to get the routine going. And then, being able to establish strikes early. That's why you back up. I was like, where are you going? It is. It's, establishing strikes early. And when you're able to do that and you can get guys off balance and, just keep plugging away. And I think that's something that I've been wanting to do is to go deep into the ballgame and obviously limit the runs. I know walking runs isn't, something I'd like to do, but sometimes it happens, but you have to be able to plug away from another couple innings after that.
It seemed like whatever happened in the third inning, though, motivated you a little bit more, at least from the outside. Was that the case?
It is, because you have to challenge guys. I think when you give away free passes, it's out of character for me, and I think it's out of character for any starting pitcher. That's something we work on not doing. So I'd rather a guy get a hit than walk in a run. So it just kind of fires you up a little bit more, and you have to bear down.
And then when you give up that run, and then for Chu to come back right away, this offense to answer the way that they have been doing a lot lately, how encouraging for that is that for you as a pitcher?
No, it's outstanding. I think anytime the hitters are able to score runs for you, especially the way that they do it, it's exciting. And that just kind of motivates me to go out there and put a zero right after that, and be able to go deep and try to answer back in the way I know how, which is to go out and pitch well.
Cole, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Congratulations on the win, guys. We'll send it back up to you.
All right, Emily, thank you. Well, the Rangers get a much-needed win, and 4-1 the final here tonight. We'll be back with more from Globe Life Park right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.